Let's get one thing straight. You can't fake safety, and your body knows it. This week, I'm sitting down with somatic sex coach Meryl Victoria to talk about how nervous system regulation isn't just self-care, it is foreplay. We're breaking down the science of polyvagal theory, why some bodies shut down during sex, and how intimacy itself can be a tool for healing. If you've ever felt disconnected or like you're craving more than just physical touch, this one's for you. Because sometimes we regulate to have sex, and sometimes sex is how we regulate. All right, let's get into it. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Come Talk with Aimee. I am so glad that you're here. Yes, we love our listeners. I'm so excited to be with Meryl Victoria today and to have our listeners learn all the goodness that she's about to give us.
Aimee, happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you. Meryl is a somatic sex and intimacy coach who helps people come home to their bodies and rewrite their stories around sex, intimacy, and connection. She takes a nervous system-based approach to healing through the lens of sexuality, supporting individuals and partnerships, and releasing shame, building embodied confidence, and expanding their capacity for pleasure. We love it. Meryl blends science and softness on a grounded, heart-centered, and occasionally irreverent path to deep relationships and a fulfilling life. Welcome, Meryl. Yes.
So excited to get nerdy about the nervous system with you today.
My goodness, me as well. My nurse and somatic coach self is like, yes, 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 let us dive in. All right, so Meryl, tell us, what is polyvagal theory? Step us through simple terms. Go.
Polyvagal theory explains how our autonomic nervous system is constantly scanning for cues of safety and danger and how that shapes our responses before it even reaches us on a cognitive level. There's a term called neuroception, which is the process by which our nervous system perceives our environment and interprets our environment. And the process is that by which it distinguishes between safety, danger, and like a threat to your life. The four major threats that our nervous systems are scanning for are physical threat, obviously, to your body, the unknown or unmet expectations. So that is where all of our shoulds live. Shoulds are very dysregulating. My favorite one, which is environmental incongruence. It's the feeling of like walking into a room and sensing that everyone was just talking about you. Your nervous system. Yeah, that's your nervous system picking up on cues. Like, that person I know isn't making eye contact with me. It's really quiet in here. No one will look at me. Everybody's, and that process happens. Some people say like 5 times a second. I don't have the science personally on that, but constant is really all that matters. Like every single moment of your life, your nervous system is driving the bus on whether or not you are okay or not okay. So there are 3 main states of our nervous system. Ventral vagal, which is rest and digest, all is well. We're in homeostasis. I feel calm, present, open. This is what's known as the social engagement system. This is the ideal time for intimacy, connection, play, erotic exploration, sexual curiosity. This is where everything feels safe enough between you and your partner or you and yourself to do a little curious exploration of your erotic desires. We have sympathetic activation, which is your fight flight response. This is mobilized energy. This is hypervigilance, anxiety. This is your system going into hyperdrive, imagining that your body is preparing to fight. Your pupils dilate, your breathing gets more shallow, you become alert, and sex in that state might feel frantic, disconnected, performance driven, or totally shut down altogether. As a little caveat, I'm going to say the next thing is our freeze response, but freeze can also live in sympathetic activation. If anyone out there listening experiences being frozen in panic, that's a very high energy, mobilized body sensation, in case anybody needs to feel seen in that. Then we have dorsal vagal, the dorsal vagal state, which is like down, collapse, dissociation, numbness, drawing. This is like your body's preparing for death. So We are preparing for a fight and preparing for death. Those are the binaries that our nervous system know. This is when we get into our all or nothing thinking. That's usually a sign of nervous system activation. So dorsal vagal state can show up as a total disinterest in sex and total inability to feel pleasure, a lack of sensation in your genitals. I would say most times it manifests as enduring touch that you don't really want, or enduring sex that you don't really want. That's the basic framework. There's lots of other terms, but I think for our purposes today, those are the most important things for people to understand. Have a little exercise that people can do with themselves to try and figure out what nervous system state they're in.
Ooh, give it to us. We love a good exercise.
Because we're just starting off today, I'm going to say this is for the people out there who are not super duper connected to their bodies, the physical manifestation of their nervous system. I call it the states and stories. The story you tell yourself is reflective of your nervous system state. Aimee, I want you to imagine that you are giving a presentation at a conference in California.
Okay.
And it's like a big deal.
California specifically. Okay.
Anywhere that feels far away that you are not familiar with. Maybe like Portugal or somewhere sexier than California. Maybe we don't want to be in the United States. So where do you want to be in your conference?
Portugal. I love it.
You're giving this presentation in Portugal. It's a big deal. It's important to you. If you were to imagine that you were in a really mobilized, sympathetic response, what might that energy be like if there's anxiety and hypervigilance in your system around getting ready to go on this trip? What might that story be?
The story, not the physical aspects of it?
Yeah.
It could be worried about like technology, worried about are things going to go well? Am I going to forget something? Is this going to land well with anybody? I'm not going to make any sense. Nobody is going to like what I say. I'm going to have something in my teeth.
Totally. There's what I call dress rehearsing tragedy. I got from Brene Brown. There's like amazing video of her and Oprah. That maybe I'll send you to link here.
Yes. Ew.
From a dorsal vagal, from shutdown, from collapse, from immobilization, what might that story sound like?
From a shutdown, I don't want to be there. Maybe some depressed feelings as far as ennui, apathy as far as I don't care the outcome of this. I don't want to be here. I can't be bothered. Why do I have to
Totally. Go? Exactly. That would be my story. I'm just not going. I'm going to cancel.
Yeah.
So those are totally different stories about the exact same situation. Based on the story if you can slow down enough to examine the story you're telling yourself, not even getting into the body yet, it's a great way to tell you what is happening inside of you. From the goal ventral vagal state, it might be people in Portugal have computers. If I forget a cord, surely I can get one there. There are clothing stores. If I rip the sleeve off of my sweater, I can surely get another sweater. I can solve problems. I can cope with whatever happens. I know I'll be okay.
Our solution center.
It's interesting because most of us are driven by our fixer-doer parts. I think what really is happening in ventral vagal is that you have full access to your frontal lobe, to your prefrontal cortex, to your thinking mind, which allows you to do creative problem solving. Being able to gauge where your nervous system is helps you figure out what you need to come back to safety and regulation.
I love that exercise because a lot of us do go with the mind versus the body first. Love that description that you just gave us of how we can tell which state we're in by mapping our thoughts.
It's another tool in the toolbox. For me, I like to use my body to tell because there's so much nuance. I'm a cannabis user, so I usually go to cannabis to help me with regulation. In certain states, it makes me more anxious. If I'm not aware of my body's response to it, I might be thinking, oh, wow, I'm so anxious that weed's not even helping me, when it really is not the tool I need to support my nervous system in that moment.
This awareness really is dependent on understanding the different states, what tools then we can bring and actually help. I love that. And then taking it to kind of a pleasure lens, pleasure, sex, take us on that journey and intimacy using this framework. What are some different scenarios that could be happening in these different states during intimacy and sex?
Yeah, I think what I want to start by saying is your nervous system has a sexual history. Our nervous system,
Say that again.
your nervous system has a sexual history. Our nervous system holds the imprint of every experience we have ever had, whether or not you remember it. You might have been too young, you might have been too dissociated. It doesn't really matter. Your body knows.
Mm-hmm.
If there is a history of trauma, it can impact how your body interprets and experiences connection, particularly in certain contexts. Sex is the most vulnerable thing we do. There's no getting around that. You're standing naked in front of someone, figuratively and literally. The reason I take the lens of sexuality in my work is because it's like such a direct route to shame, to relational dynamics that are not working for you, behavior patterns, they all show up in your sexuality. So if, for instance, you were rewarded for pleasing people when you were a child, if your performance as a kid affected the ways your parents treated you or the way that they felt, you've probably become a people pleaser. You're probably already in therapy about it. What that will mean is your sympathetic system revs up during sex because it becomes about performing rather than connecting. Alternatively, if you learned that sex is an obligation, looking at you, purity culture survivors,
Right.
you may naturally default to dorsal vagal shutdown during intimacy because you learned that it's not for you.
Yes.
Even when you want to, there's shutdown because the thing that you learned, the traumatic imprint is it's meant for someone else to want and it's meant for you to deliver. The imprint of those experiences, even though they're not acute traumatic experiences, that experience of taking in and believing that for so long about yourself has shifted the way your nervous system operates. Everything that's ever happened to you is in the room with you. Sorry to say it.
No.
Finding safety and reliably being able to return to safety is a relational tool. We learn safety in connection. We can't learn safety if we spend our whole life in a room by ourselves.
So true. That is so good. We learn safety and connection. Like, shout that from the rooftops.
Yeah, totally. You know, I can say, like, I've lived in New York for 12 years. I was single for most of that. I know how unsafe it feels to be in connection with people.
Yes, yes.
And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's a great example of because our nervous system is there to help us as well, to
Totally.
be cautionary. And that's what the kind of system is. And I think when we're talking about trauma, that can be, or our history can impact that. But there's also the states where it's telling you the hell to get out of there and is serving you. When you speak to that as far as understanding, differentiating when it is serving you from a pleasure and versus when it's inhibiting you from the pleasure from receiving the pleasure that you're desiring.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we need our nervous systems. Obviously, the nervous system is why a mother would jump into the street and scoop her child out of the street if a car was coming. She doesn't stand there on the curb saying, there's a car coming. I guess maybe my kid's in the street and that's probably, well, I guess I should probably like scoop them up. No, there's no time for that. Your system does get co-opted.
Yeah.
And usually that serves us. It has served our animal primal selves forever. It's why we still have it. It's why it's so fine-tuned. The amygdala is responsible for categorizing memories and stuff. The amygdala makes a lot of mistakes. If you see a coat in the corner of a room when you're a child and you think it's a person, your amygdala has interpreted that as fear, scary, bad. It's important to know it can relearn things, and that is the process of rewiring your neural pathways around maladaptive patterns.
Okay, fabulous. Take us on that journey. Rewiring. When we would want to rewire, what are some tools to help us do that?
As a somatic practitioner. I believe the way we learn something new is by repeated positive feedback. If you say something vulnerable to your partner every day for a week, your system is going to learn, okay, I said it. I felt shame. They gave me a hug and told me they loved me, and I have survived. It creates and we got closer. It creates a positive feedback loop where once there was a negative feedback loop. Sex is a really fun place to create some new positive feedback loops.
Yeah.
I always start with co-regulation because you can do it in so many different ways. Co-regulation is your body's and your nervous system's natural ability to regulate with another nervous system. It's why we yawn after other people yawn. It's why we can be in a terrible mood and text our girly group chat and say, assemble the girls. As soon as they start laughing with you, you are with them in the laughter.
Yeah,
you
I
don't
love that
stay
example.
there. Your nervous system wants to attune to safe nervous systems. On an even higher level, you feel safe with the person, but on a higher level, you also need to feel safe in general. So I could feel safe with this person, but I'm in an unsafe world. I'm in an unsafe neighborhood. I'm in an unsafe relationship. If you've had a really activating or dysregulating day, you might just need more time to drop into safety, even if you're with your safe person.
Yes. Yeah. How does one drop into safety?
I want to say first, because I'm going to talk a lot about co-regulation, that like I was terminally single for over a decade, and I felt a lot of resentment around my inability to get co-regulation. I relate and empathize with the people listening to this who are fuck you and all your co-regulating that you get to do.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But to you guys, I want to say it's not the same. And it sucks that it's not a need you can meet on your own. And you can go to a cafe with your journal or your book and be around other nervous systems. You can go to the park and sit in the sun with other people sunbathing around you and be around other nervous systems. Not the same and available in a smaller way. For those of you who do have good co-regulating partners, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your sister, maybe it's your mom, could be anybody safe. We're looking at on a smaller level, eye contact, laughing together.
Powerful. So powerful.
Yeah, that's it. It's something you do already. Adding intention to something, making deep eye contact. They call it eye gazing if you really want to be woo-woo about it. Watching an episode of Seinfeld together before you want to go have sex can be so regulating. This thing we share, it's joyful, it's fun. I find moving, syncing your movements or dancing together, or even if you've ever, I do this sometimes where I'll give my boyfriend a hug and start swaying him like little bamboo, and deep breathing together. I do a lot of synchronized breathing. We actually do synchronized breathing every night before we go to sleep.
That's amazing.
Beautiful. It feels so regulating and relaxing and safe. Talking before or after sex, a lot of people need, and even extended foreplay. Co-regulation is foreplay.
Yeah.
They're the same. All co-regulation is foreplay, not all foreplay is co-regulation.
Fair enough. Yes.
Texting your partner throughout the day. You looked really hot this morning. Ass looked really good in those pants. Oh, I was just thinking about the dinner you made last night. Did you drink any water today? Have you eaten? These are all ways of staying in regulated connection with your partners throughout the day so that when you come home to each other, you're primed for connection. You've been waiting to see each other. You're like, oh, finally.
Love it. Yeah.
And that helps with your sex life. Then like we're not getting into this dynamic where, oop, it's bedtime. Everybody's supposed to be ready for sex.
Right.
That's not real.
It's not. Yeah, no. I mean, it might be some people's reality, but it's not helping our bodies and minds.
You have to have a reason to be turned on. It's very rare that two people with spontaneous desire find each other. We usually have a spontaneous desire and a responsive desire more often than not, which means that someone in the relationship needs something to respond to.
Yep, exactly. I love this co-regulation. What about if somebody finds themselves in a partnership where they're not able to co-regulate? It's not safe. It's essentially not safe for them.
Yeah, that's tough. Whether it's the person that you're in relationship with or not, you must find someone. And if you can't find someone, then we need to look at the context that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
It's really important to have a safe person, a lifeline for your nervous system. Isolation, feeling like a sense of belonging. I count a sense of belonging in human needs with like food, water, shelter, sunshine, community.
Absolutely.
The distress that your nervous system is in without that is something to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can build safety, but I don't recommend building safety with a safe person. If your nervous system is like, no, 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 it's probably a really good reason for that.
That's information, right?
Yeah. Again, like I choose somatics because I am not encouraging my clients to like just listen to what I'm telling them. I'm saying, what does your body do right now? What's happening? You can't argue your way out of like, I feel constriction in my chest, or I feel tension in my shoulders, or I feel locked up in my hips. Or I feel my legs are doing cartoon wanting to run, but I can't go anywhere. That's information that your body is giving you, and you can't argue with it. You feel it. It's there.
Yeah. What about people who want to enjoy sex and they're not in like committed partnership? How do they co-regulate, or are there other tips and tricks that they can use to help their nervous system?
There are so many nervous system practices out there. So many. One of my teachers and someone I really admire, she's on Instagram as Anna, the anxiety coach. She offers a ton of content around solo regulation.
Yes.
There are morning nervous system routines you can do. I really recommend evening nervous system practices. And yes, it can look like full body padding and a butterfly hug and the physiological sigh, or it can look like singing and dancing every single morning.
I love it.
Finding little ways to build regulation into your life. When I'm making coffee, I do heel drops. 30 seconds in your kitchen. So I would say find some content creators, find some people out there who are like giving you nervous system practices to do. You can follow me on Instagram. It's not there yet, but it will be.
Have your information linked in the show notes for sure.
Just try stuff out. And when you feel something, there's the butterfly hug, which is a really classic self-containment sort of feels nice to do. But I actually discovered one that's you put one hand under your armpit and one hand on your opposite bicep. And this feels so much more regulating to me.
Ooh.
And it's just the smallest little change. It really, my system responds to it completely differently.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's so interesting. Ooh, I love that.
Giving your system a little support in here are some things that I know will work. Here's something a coach told me to try, so that you can get yourself even to the place where curious exploration is on the table. Because a lot of people just want to be like told what to do, like, sit, help me. So there are some things that are like generally they work, but the best thing you can do is to experiment with your own body.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We need to start with ourselves. For sure. Now, I'm wondering when you were talking about the idea of people pleasing, right, which I definitely resonate with, I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about consent in the context of understanding our nervous system and some tools there that could be helpful for folks.
Yeah, consent also lives in the nervous system. Yes doesn't mean anything if your nervous system has a no in it. And I think most of us can probably, maybe it's not in a sexual context, but maybe you're really upset and that feeling of don't touch me, just don't touch me, you know, I just want to turn inside out and become invisible. It means something. I always say that I do a lot of IFS informed parts work in my practice for internal family system is a therapeutic modality created by Dr. Richard Schwartz that is really and truly, I think, one of the most effective tools I've ever woven into my practice or experienced personally. It just transforms the way you relate with yourself and honors this multifaceted people that we actually are. The entity, the larger whole is made up of smaller parts. If you've ever been, a part of me wants to kill my boss, a part of me wants to walk off a bridge. I don't want to do that, but a part of me does.
I don't know what you're talking about. No, just kidding. We all have been there. We all understand that. Relatable. Yeah.
So through that lens, I feel that like maybe means there's a no somewhere in your system. It's finding the no. What
Yeah.
part of you is a no to it? Is it just an element of something that's happening that's a no? Are you a no to the person? Are you a no to penetration? Are you a no to oral sex? Are you a no to the potential of something that could happen? This is where we want to really get into the experience of touching in with the no.
Yeah, I love that. Yes. Yeah. What is the no and where is it? And it may take some digging. I love that. The maybe means that the no is there somewhere. I'm wondering too, for partners who, let's say one partner has a history of trauma and the other partner doesn't, but how can that partner without the history of trauma support the other partner to help them regulate their nervous system when they notice that the other person is being triggered?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked this question because we don't really talk very much about supporting survivors, what it means to be in relationship with someone who is a survivor of abuse or like acute trauma. It's really complicated. And I think allowing your partners to be a part of your healing process really helps depersonalize the stuff that's coming up interpersonally in the relationship. The example I gave you earlier, I want my partner to touch me, but when they do, I literally recoil. And there's this, I don't understand what's happening. Learning to slow down together in a moment is really important. I remember I had a teacher who said, everyone tells you that relationships are work, but no one ever tells you what the work is.
Ooh, that is so true.
And she was saying, I think the work is learning when to take a break, when to pause, and when to move away and come back to something. When dysregulation is happening, to just let it be there. We are not bringing our fixing hats to our partner's dysregulation. And afterwards, because we re-regulate our body, like you can get stuck in activation if you have some kind of impairment in your vagus nerve. But generally, your body won't let you stay in high activation for too long if objectively everything is. It's important to have meta conversations about activation. Doing relationship check-ins every single week is one of the most important relationship tools we can invite in.
I love that. Can you explain what that might look like for folks who don't have that practice but are like, yeah, I want that?
So you pick a day and a time that works for you every week. I have a list of 13 questions that I offer to my clients as a framework. So surely that will be a lead magnet available soon.
I love it.
But it's a time to set aside with the intention, if there's stuff that needs to be talked about, this is a safe space for us to talk about it. It's important to reflect on all the stuff that's going really well. It's an important time to reflect on places where you might have gotten dropped and need a little something around it. If there's something going on that you're avoiding, that's a great time to talk about it. It helps to know that there's a container that exists so that anything that you don't feel like you're being haunted by it as you live inside your relationship. It's okay, intrusive thoughts. Our check-in is on Monday and we'll talk about it then and it'll be okay because it's always okay.
I love that.
So that's really regulating because there's that takes away the element of the unknown. Is the conversation going to drop in my lap unexpectedly, or is something going to blow up that's going to necessitate us having this conversation? Or are we going to make an empowered choice to have the conversation together?
Right. I love that. What a powerful tool too, to also lead to better communication. Obviously, it's a communication tool, but like a lot of issues can lead with like resentment, right? Buildup of unmet expectations or having expectations that have not been communicated, and also a lot of misunderstandings. We're looking at a situation and we're assuming something and we're responding to that in a specific way, and it may be completely not what our partner was intending. So yeah, to be able to have that check-in is so valuable. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we ask things, is there anything important coming up for you that I don't realize is important?
Yeah, you may have mentioned it 5 times, but we need to know if this is important to you. Yeah.
Right, like you're just talking about it, but you're not saying that it's important. What should I be intuiting? What could you just tell me I should be treating in an important way? What are you stressed about right now? That kind of stuff. My partner and our rhythms, our attachment rhythms, make it so feedback has been a growth edge we've built into our conversations. Are you seeing any of my blind spots? Encourage feedback.
Love that. So amazing.
Which has been so helpful. It's such an important practice. And a part of that can be, let's co-regulate.
Yes. I feel like we all need to be flies on the wall for one of your weekly check-ins.
Yeah, there's honestly, and then we do, because I do have an irreverent streak. I'm a little, so, but this wasn't even my idea actually, which I think is cute. We end our check-ins by doing recoupling speeches from Love Island.
Really? That's amazing.
We have built in this, we have to drop into it, but there's always a little anxiety that's going to come up today. We have the conversations. We have built in in the structure a spot for us to do something silly and stupid at the end of it. That is, and I fucking love you. And here's why I want to stay with you.
That's amazing.
So that's regulating. It allows both of your nervous systems to travel together through an experience and come out the other end being, we did great. Good for us.
Yeah.
Let's have ice cream.
Beautiful. Yes. Ice cream and a side of sex, please.
Exactly. Yeah. And because you probably just talked about sex in your check-in. So, and sex is so much better when you're feeling really connected and you'll be really regulated.
Check and check. That's amazing. I love that. What other tools would you like to talk about today from a regulation perspective and in the context of intimacy that our listeners just have to hear? I want
to give a little special shout out to Aftercare.
Yeah.
Aftercare is so regulating, and you don't have to save Aftercare for the times where you've just gotten beat with a paddle or bound and gagged for hours or clit tortured.
Yeah.
It could just be Aftercare. Like, yeah. You might just need some cuddling. You might just need a warm blanket. You might just need a snack, or for someone to get you a glass of water or something small. It's important to remember that we go to sex to feel something. The experiences, the things we do in sex are just mechanisms to get us to a feeling. Allowing that feeling to live outside of the container, like on the edges of that container. I felt it before. I really felt it during, and I still feel it. Helps that positive feedback loop around sex be maintained.
I love that visual you just gave. I am a whore for Aftercare. It's a must for me.
Yeah.
Every single time. Yeah. Huge. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We talked about co-regulation, but what about co-dysregulation?
It's really hard when both nervous systems or all the nervous systems in the room are dysregulated. That's a sure sign that it's probably time to take a pause and take a step back and a breath. But one way, again, it's about having these meta conversations about what's happening in the room when you're outside of sex. During sex is not the time to be talking about what to do. It's just really want to set a precedent for communication in your relationships, especially around sex. And if you do have a trauma history, you don't have to relive every moment of your experience in order to bring your partner into understanding about the impact that the experience had. To talk about impact is different than to storytell. Okay. It helps your partner meet you in compassion when that activation is present instead of blame. Yeah. It depersonalizes the experience for them. You're not doing anything wrong. This is just something coming out of my body's history right now. That your partner is more available to co-regulate with you and to support you instead of enduring their own activation, trying to hold you and probably dropping you because they're activated too.
Right. Yeah. Let's say sex partners or a couple has this co-dysregulated sex. What's a way to come together afterwards and talk about that?
If you can co-regulate back together out of sex, yes, but maybe if it were me, I would need a little space. I would probably want to get regulated on my own. And then part of aftercare is talking about the sex you just had, or it can be. My history isn't as like a performer. So we always did the compliment sandwich. And I think the compliment sandwich is a good approach. This was great. I don't know so much about this middle business, but I did also like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps temper people's regulation, is really what it's all about.
I love that. Compliment sandwich. Yes, it's a huge communication tool for sure.
Mhm.
Now, can you touch on about
Oh, I do want to
oh,
say one other on the a little asterisk on communication tools.
mhm.
I encourage my clients to describe their feelings rather than naming their feelings for their partners. If I say feel really unstable right now,
Mhm.
you and every listener out there has a different definition of what unstable means.
So true.
So I could say, I feel like I'm on a knife's edge, and no matter what choice I make, it's going to be the wrong choice. I could
Mm.
say, I feel like a tornado is spinning in my head and I cannot find any clarity right now. I could say, I feel like I'm standing on a floor that is slicked with oil and I can't find my footing. I could say, I feel like any step I take could be quicksand.
I'm such a visual learner and a visual person. So, bam, I love these examples because it really takes me there to the feeling, the emotion.
Right. And it's like there's no gray area there.
Mm,
I'm not interpreting I'm not interpreting anything. I'm not
right.
applying my definition to your feeling. I'm
Yeah,
saying, wow, you feel like you're standing in a pool of oil and can't get your footing. That feels really destabilizing. That I get that. So much easier to empathize with it, so much easier to bring your partner into understanding.
absolutely. Wow. I love that. I love that. Can you take us or talk to us about like different erotic styles, how they may change based off of what's going on with your nervous system?
The eras of our lives want different things from us.
Yes.
If you're in a spot in life, maybe you're in or recently out of grief or something, you're just in this shutdown. It's so hard to get out of bed or turn
Mhm.
on the lights. It's just been a struggle for so long and you're just stuck in dorsal vagal shutdown. Some people might use sex to upregulate. Maybe they want group sex, overstimulating sex, sensory overload,
Mhm.
lots of kink, lots of maybe they want to like be having sex in public. Maybe risky sex is doing it for them. Maybe it's a way to like get your nervous system charged up and activated in
Yeah.
the opposite direction. So likewise, if you're like super, super duper anxious at a moment in your life, you might use sex to down regulate. Deep breathing. Most people might like tantra, slow, sensate focus, missionary with lots of eye contact kind of stuff. If you're feeling, if something has happened that felt really vulnerable, if you have some public embarrassment or vulnerability might feel too risky and scary. So something intense might be wanted in sex where it doesn't feel like you're exposing a lot of yourself. Slowness might feel too vulnerable, so high intensity is what's wanted. Your erotic needs and the things that you feel charge around will change based on the general state of your nervous system during the eras of your life. If you just had a baby, you probably don't want to have sex. Your body is super overstimulated. What you really want is something, if you want to be touched at all, it's probably low and gentle and not necessarily desire driven.
Mhm.
Sort of a no.
And sleep.
Exactly. Exactly. We have these different eras of our lives. I find that of women in their 50s is a client category because
Mhm.
what's happening at that point in their lives is their children have left the house.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the season of novelty. That's
Yeah.
the like I want to try everything. I
Yeah.
want so they're trying to match their nervous system's need for more energetic activation.
Yeah. I love that. Yes. Play. We love a good play session. I like
Yeah.
calling sex in general play.
Love it. It is. It's how grown-ups play together.
It is, yes. And it sounds so much more, I don't know. It brings the fun and not like a responsibility.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, this has been a wealth of information. I'm so excited for our listeners to hear all of this. Listeners, please let us know your takeaways before we go. and wrap up, we got to do our come to completion round. Have some questions for you, Meryl. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So question number 1 is how do we close the orgasm gap?
My gut response is get a Hitachi.
Yeah.
They don't sponsor me, but they should. But more seriously, I think decentralizing the orgasm and re-centralizing pleasure
Yes.
it like broadens the scope of what is possible as far as reaching orgasm. I've had people in my office just doing their first ever deep breathing and they have an orgasm.
Yeah.
Just broadening the scope of what is possible in pleasure without orgasm as the goal.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So huge. So huge. It took me to a personal, I don't have to share that, but
You could, but
I could. It just reminds me of an experience that I had recently of just being touched and I was getting orgasmic shocks. Like amazing. I'm like, yes, please, more of this. Pleasure is so expansive. All right. Question number 2. How do you become a receiver of pleasure?
Yeah, it's complicated to receive pleasure. For me, when I'm having difficulty receiving, I remind myself, like, you're supposed to be getting a gift right now. If you are not open to receiving a gift, what are we doing here? I want to honor the gift that this person is trying to give me by receiving it.
I love that reframe of like, this is a gift. Open up to receive. Yes.
Yeah, it comes from the wheel of consent. What direction is the gift going and who's doing the action? And there are so many times where I'm doing this for you. Well, I'm doing this for you. So no one's getting a gift. And it's like, well, why are we doing this? No one wants to do this.
We want to step away from that. All right. So number 3, what's your ultimate communication advice?
I think I gave a lot of it. Do relationship check-ins. Like, I don't care how long you've been together. Do relationship check-ins. Using like descriptive feelings language versus like the feelings wheel told me that I'm feeling this.
Right. And what does this mean to you? Yeah. The description is so huge. I'm actually going to even use it with my daughter because she said she's a visual learner too. Yes, this is how we're going to be emoting in this household.
Yay.
I love it. Okay. So, and final question, what has helped you unlock shame around sex?
For me, a lot of it has been my own body, my journey in and with my body. In the relationship I'm in right now, I've had the most transformative, de-shamifying experience of my life. I wrote about it on my blog, which you can read on Substack.
Yay!
Yeah, I faced my worst fear and I organized a scene for us to do together that was aimed specifically at my body shame and the ways it shows up in sex.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
Wow, I love that. That's amazing. And yay to your partner for helping you create that space.
Yeah, he was really, really excited to do it. Yeah. We have a biological imperative to be an additive part of other people's well-being. It's part of our wiring. If pleasure and sex can help your partner heal some shit, like, why not? Healing does not have to be the most like brutal thing you ever endure. Your personal development and healing does not have to be like you slugging through the muck on your own. It is some of that, but like, it doesn't have to be all of it.
Yeah. And we heal in community, right? We heal in relation to others. So huge. Oh my goodness. Meryl, love all of the nuggets of information and knowledge that you gave to us today. Thank you for sharing yourself with us, your journey, so many tools that I myself am taking away from today. Thank you so much for being here. Love it. Loved having you.
Thanks for having me, Aimee. It was really lovely to get nerdy with you today. And yeah.
Yes, we love a nerdy moment. And thank you so much for our listeners for listening in. Hit that subscribe button, like, share with your friends, your frenemies, your grandma, all of the people. Let us know in the comments what were your takeaways today? What did you learn? What tips and tools are you going to implement based off of today's episode? We love it. We love our listeners. Thank you for being with us. Remember, masturbate, lubricate, and get 8. And as always, thank you for coming. Please come again, and come again. Turns out, the hottest turn on isn't a toy or a technique. It's a body that feels safe enough to stay. Whether you're learning to regulate before sex or discovering how sex can regulate you, Meryl just gave us a masterclass in embodied pleasure. So if this episode cracked something open, share it, rate it, send it to someone whose nervous system deserves this conversation. And as always, come talk with me. We're not just talking about sex. We are rewriting how it feels.